A third major league nearly launched in 1961. My question? What would happen if it did? Welcome back to the Baseball Dreamland channel. In this video, I'm gonna set the stage for this alternate reality and then take on a challenge using Out of the Park Baseball 25. The Continental League was sparked by the emigration of the Dodgers and Giants from New York in the 1950s, along with an appetite from several other cities to acquire a Major League Baseball club. In response, the American and National Leagues handed out 2 expansion clubs each, including the New York Mets. With New York satisfied, the rest of the initiative slowly crumbled like a house of cards. But let's say the other leagues didn't react and the Continental League became the third major league. The 4 expansion clubs wouldn't have formed, leaving both leagues at 8 teams and 154 game schedules. The National League will play the 1961 season exactly like real life. However, the chase for 61 home runs by Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle will be much more difficult with 8 fewer games and no expansion grade pitchers to face. The Continental League franchises would make a total of 24 major league clubs. Here are the 8 Continental League franchises. I'll be taking over as GM of the Minnesota Twins. These are not the real-life Washington Senators who moved to Minnesota in 1961 to become the Twins. Those Senators stayed in Washington after Minnesota gained expansion through the Continental League. My objective will be to become the first World Series champion from the Continental League, but we must also win it before Camilo Pascual, Harmon Killebrew, and the Washington Senators, or the real-life Twins, win it first. These are the settings I've modified from the default. The real-life Angels and new Senators players became part of a free agent draft. The 3 league champions qualify for the postseason, along with the winner of a 1-game playoff between the AL and NL second-place teams. The AL and NL franchises will have 6 minor league affiliates, while the Continental League teams will have 3. I play with some additional house rules that close cheesy loopholes in the game. My latest additions at the bottom right involve signing rookie free agents and using a 5-man rotation. We'll play our games in the Metropolitan Stadium, which favors power hitters from both sides of the plate, but the Atlanta Peaches will be playing in the most ridiculous park I've ever seen. That's a 2.177 home run rate for left-handed hitters, which puts Colorado to shame. Perhaps an Atlanta Peaches player will be the one to break Babe Ruth's record. Wheelock Whitney was involved in the Continental League from the very beginning and assumes ownership of the Minnesota Twins in this alternate universe. Nothing too concerning about his profile, it just looks like we'll need to pay attention to profitability more than usual. Here's the pool of free agent position players. That's just 26 major league quality players to share across 8 teams. 38-year-old Gene Woodling may have a career year teeing off on Continental League pitching, while Jim Fregosi would be a great piece to build around for the future. And here is the pool of free agent pitchers, which means each Continental League club should expect to get perhaps 2 of them. 19-year-old Dean Chance is far and away the most likely number 1 pick in the draft, with a chance for some serious numbers pitching against weak competition. The other teams favored prospects with their top picks. Ace pitcher Dean Chance heads to Houston, the small but mighty Albie Pearson becomes a Buffalo Bison, the charismatic Luis Tiant lands in Dallas, power-hitting Jim King fittingly goes to Colorado, and talented infielder Jim Fregosi is selected by Toronto. The first Minnesota Twins player and our new ace is Ken McBride from the Chicago White Sox. He's been successful in the minor leagues and is about to receive his first significant playing time in Minnesota. That's a nice stuff and movement profile. Chuck Hinton becomes our franchise's first position player. The 26-year-old outfielder comes to us from the Orioles organization after completing a monster season with A-Ball Stockton and earning a promotion to AAA Vancouver. He's serviceable with the bat and in the outfield with great speed and a humble personality. The versatile Tom Satriano becomes our first prospect, having just won the College World Series with the USC Trojans. Hopefully he'll develop that elite eye at the plate, and we've got the option of using him behind the plate or on the left side of the infield. Well, catcher it is, because Ed Brinkman looks like our shortstop of the future. He joins us from Western Hills High School, where he played with Pete Rose. Ideally, he becomes our utility infielder, so I'll try to train him at second base and third base as well. Tom Morgan is going to be our closer and brings a wealth of experience from pitching with the Yankees, Athletics, Tigers, and Senators. He won't be dominant, but shouldn't pitch himself into too many unnecessary jams with that excellent control. Tom Burgess is 33 years old and hasn't played in the majors since 1954 with the St. Louis Cardinals, but the Canadian gives us a good bat relative to the competition and leadership in the clubhouse. He should be a plus outfielder once we train him back up there too. Knuckleballer, Korean War veteran, and former 16-game winner Tom Sturdivant is another arm for the bullpen. He won World Series championships with the Yankees in 1956 and 1958, and since pitched for the Athletics and the Red Sox. After that, we have a collection of assorted replacement players. Actually, that might be too generous. Some of these guys didn't play in the majors at all in real life. You know, it's one thing that most of you are terrible baseball players, but do you all have to spend your free time in my office? We are not alone, though. The other 7 Continental League franchises share a similar roster makeup with a few major leaguers mixed in with minor league castoffs. The 1961 season may come down to which team can supplement its roster during this season. We filled our major league personnel from scratch. On the plus side, they all have great development ratings, especially pitching coach Mike Vanderzanden. On the other hand, their personalities crash and they might kill each other before the season ends. Ladies and gentlemen, here are your opening day 1961 Minnesota Twins. One roster change from earlier is 5th starter Bob Sprout optioned to AAA Nashville in favor of Russell Henricks, who's about to gain his first experience above rookie ball. Opening day is at the Polo Grounds, where Dale Long takes Ken McBride deep in the 2nd inning, and Gene Green does the same in the 7th inning off Manny Montejo. The Mets win 4-2 when starter Mike Garcia is the player of the game, allowing only an unearned run in 8 innings. Ken McBride struck out 9 but takes the loss. Chuck Hinton collected a single and a triple in his major league debut. In other Continental League action, Atlanta scored a 6-1 win against Buffalo. Jim Fregosi hit his first career home run in the Blue Jays' extra inning win in Dallas, and Dean Chance won his major league debut in Colorado. We concluded April at War Memorial Stadium, where Joe McLean surrendered a 3-run homer to Albie Pearson in the 3rd, and then a 2-run homer to Ken Aspromonte in the 4th. The Bisons prevailed 9-4, dropping us to last place at 6-11. Chuck Hinton posted a 154 WRC plus and earned a Player of the Week award, but only the Phillies scored fewer runs than us. Ken McBride is 5th in MLB with a 2.21 FIP, and Tom Sturdivant allowed no earned runs in 11 innings. We're tied at 1 with the Dallas Rangers and can't finish the job in the 14th inning. Predictably, El Tapian ties it with a 2-run homer off Ed Hobaugh in the top of the 15th. The Rangers win and stop our bid to reach 500. We finished May 15-12 to move past the Rockies and Rangers into 6th place. We can thank Chuck Hinton's 1,000 OPS, Tom Satriano's return from injury, Ken McBride's continued dominance, and our 2.12 bullpen ERA for that improved standing. We're nursing a small lead against the Mets, and Tom Burgess smashes a deep fly ball over the right field fence for a 2-0 lead. Up steps Chuck Hinton, and he goes back-to-back off Mets 8's Mike Garcia. We win 4-1 to finish June on a 5-game winning streak and move into 3rd place. Number 3 starter Joe McLean earned 3 wins and posted a 2.17 ERA this month. Chuck Hinton continues to carry the offense by posting an 1168 OPS and winning the Rookie of the Month award. He now leads Major League Baseball with a 371 batting average and a 458 on-base percentage. Mr. Whitney is happy with what he's seeing so far. Our record and financials are exceeding his expectations, and we'll look to improve the farm through rookie free agency in the offseason. We've added to the team through waivers. 37-year-old journeyman Jim Pendleton was claimed from the Cincinnati Reds in May. Hal Narragon came from the Washington Senators in June to become our first real-life Minnesota Twins player. Former Cy Young and World Series MVP award winner Bullet Bob Turley was claimed from the New York Yankees. Finally, Duke Moss will join his former Yankee teammate in our starting rotation. There were 32 trades in July with some big names moving. The Giants acquired first baseman Pete Runnels from the Red Sox. The Yankees added ace starter Bob Friend from the Pirates and closer Bill Henry from the Reds. Center fielder Jim Pearsall heads from Cleveland to St. Louis. And left fielder Al Smith moves from Chicago's south side to the north side. We acquired outfielder Elmer Vallo and closer Ray Moore from the Washington Senators, and they become the second and third real-life Twins on our roster. 41-year-old outfielder Dave Philly joins us from the Baltimore Orioles. Finally, 27-year-old second baseman Billy Moran arrives from the Blue Jays. But our biggest acquisition is 35-year-old Ned Garver from the Colorado Rockies. The control artist is 10-7 with a .289 ERA and nearly 3 WAR so far this season. After stints with the Browns, Tigers, Athletics, and Rockies, he'll sit behind Ken McBride near the top of our rotation. We sent 7 players to acquire these 5. The only one who appeared previously in this video is relief pitcher Ed Hobaugh, who surrendered a game-losing home run to the Rangers in May. Bye, Ed. We played 13 innings against the Colorado Rockies during all that trading. Bud Zipfil's double off Tom Sturdivant scored 2 and earned the Rockies a 3-1 win, so we failed to reach the 500 threshold once again. Rookie shortstop Tom Satriano led the club with 6 home runs and a .1025 OPS in July. He's now third with 3.2 WAR for the season. Tom Morgan only allowed 1 run in 17 innings, and now he's 4th on the team in WAR, and his reward for that is being stripped of the closer's role by our manager. Walt Morin steps to the plate against the Bisons and drills this 3-run homer to right field, one of his 4 hits in our 3-1 victory. Where did Walt Morin come from, you ask? Players continue migrating to the Continental League, mostly through Dallas and New York, through waivers. We claimed the St. Paul native from the Cardinals, and he's been red hot ever since. We also got 28-year-old outfielder Ed Boucher from the Cubs and 25-year-old starter Ralph Terry from the Yankees. The other clubs are getting better too, and we fell to 5th after suffering a 12-17 August record. The Houston Colts have jumped into first place heading into the final month. The aforementioned Walt Morin smashed 10 home runs in August, while Duke Maz allowed 1 run in 15 August innings. Roger Maris has 48 home runs for the season, putting him on pace for 59 with a chance to break Babe Ruth's record. The problem is he's not leading the league in home runs. Not to Mickey Mantle or Frank Robinson or Harmon Killebrew, but to Leon Daddy Wags Wagner. He parked home run number 60 on September 24th in Dallas off Charlie Gorin and number 61 at home on September 30th against Bill Kirk of the Colorado Rockies. Not only did Wagner break Ruth's home run record, he won the Triple Crown, but it came with tons of controversy. Daddy Wags got his 61 home runs against Continental League competition while playing in a home ballpark with a 2.177 home run factor for left-handed hitters. If Roger Maris got an asterisk, then Daddy Wags just tore a hole in the space-time continuum. Meanwhile, our boys barnstormed through September and ended the season the right way, with a walk-off single in the 12th by backup catcher Francisco Garcia. We finished on an insane 23-2 run to finish tied for 3rd with the Rockies. Daddy Wags made history, but his Atlanta Peaches are going home after finishing 2 games behind the first Continental League champions, the Houston Colts. The Yankees waltzed into the postseason with 15 wins in a row, ending the season with a nice round 100 wins. The San Francisco Giants are the National League champions. The Detroit Tigers and Milwaukee Braves will have a 1-game playoff for a place among the final 4 teams. The Washington Senators challenged for 2nd in the American League but fell off the pace at the end, so we don't have to worry about them. If the Houston Colts win the World Series, the save is over, but seriously, I'll be stunned if they win a single game. We finished 9th in runs scored and led the Continental League clubs in doubles, which is amazing considering we were 2nd to last at the end of April. We finished 3rd in runs against, posting the lowest ERA and walk rate among Continental League clubs. All this added up to a plus 96 run differential, second best in the Continental League and fourth best in all of baseball. Leon Wagner led the league in exactly half of the 24 offensive categories shown. Chuck Hinted represented the Minnesota Twins by finishing top 10 in batting average, on base percentage, walks, doubles, and wins above replacement. Billy Moran finished 6th in doubles between his time with the Blue Jays and Twins. Hinton led the Twins with 7 wins above replacement. Only he, Tom Satriano, and Pete Daly held on to their starting roles for the duration of the season. Satriano led the team with 25 home runs on his way to nearly 6 WAR. Walt Murrin finished 4th on the team with 2 WAR despite not joining the club until early August. Dean Chance justified being the first pick in the Continental League draft, finishing with 21 wins, a sub-2 ERA, and 9 wins above replacement. Ken McBride finished 2nd in ERA, WHIP, opponent's average, quality starts, and RWAR. Ray Moore and Joe McLean made leaderboard appearances for the Twins as well. McBride finished 2nd on the club with 6.4 WAR. Carl Bolden was the only other pitcher to stay in the rotation the entire season, and Ralph Terry was excellent after being acquired from the Yankees. Tom Morgan was dominant out of the bullpen, collecting 15 saves, a 1.1 ERA, and over 2 wins above replacement. Grady Coleman's 3-homer game was the top hitting performance of the season. Marty Kia, Harmon Killebrew, and Floyd Robinson hit for cycles that didn't make the list. Charlie Gorin's 10-inning shutout was the top pitching performance, beating out no-hitters by Jim Maloney and Al Downing. Congratulations to Warren Spahn on registering his 300th career win, and also congrats to Willie Mays, Ted Kluszewski, and Ernie Banks on their 300th career home runs. Let's check out the 1961 postseason. Norm Cash's first-inning grand slam put the Tigers in the driver's seat in the wild-card game, but the Braves roared back and Hank Aaron's homer gave them a 7-5 lead. Closer Roy Face protected it, sending the Braves to the Continental Series against the New York Yankees. Joe Adcock hit his second home run of Game 5 to give the Braves a commanding 9-2 lead over the Yankees. 40-year-old Warren Spahn finished off a complete game win, sending Milwaukee to the World Series. Willie Mays' RBI single gave the Giants the lead in the 10th inning of Game 5. Marshall Bridges struck out Luis Garcia to send San Francisco to the World Series. Orlando Cepeda crushed a 5th-inning home run to left field, putting the Giants up 5-1. Hoyt Wilhelm relieved Juan Marichal and retired Hank Aaron, and San Francisco wins the series in 5 games. Congratulations to World Series MVP Orlando Cepeda and the San Francisco Giants on becoming the 1961 World Series champions. Meanwhile, the Colts losing in 5 games to the Giants in the Continental Series ensures this save will proceed into the 1962 season. We won't be able to afford to overpay veteran players or pay minor leaguers any salary above the minimum wage because I'll need those funds to sign rookie free agents. So it's time to say goodbye to 15 players. 3 were claimed on waivers and the rest are now free agents. This reduces our active roster to just 23 players. Only 13 players from our opening day roster made it through the season. As we conclude the 1961 season, you have the opportunity to shape how this story will unfold. Comment below with fan reactions to the inaugural Continental League season and your reactions to Leon Wagner's record-breaking performance. What action from governments, Major League Baseball, or team owners would happen in response to the inaugural season? Would any other off-season events unfold differently based on what you've just witnessed in this 1961 season? Your ideas can influence this alternate universe as it heads into 1962, so have fun with it. And while you're at it, please put a like on this video if you've made it this far, and subscribe to the channel so you can be notified when the 1962 video releases. I look forward to seeing you then.